Okay, you guys, let's do this. It's going to be so professional. Like, so professional. Here we go. Well, welcome to the Live Support Podcast with your hosts, Michele Van Dusen and June Colson, a couple of clean comedians who support each other and others through comedy's wacky and winding roads. I hope you're ready. Get set. Let's go. Since podcasts have a catchy tune, we wrote this song for Michele and June. Clean comedians are best friends too. Oh, that's so good. And you never know what they'll say or do. Here we go, sing with me on Live Support, with Michele, who's really short. We'll have a ball, with June, who's really tall. They have fun, interviewing comedians on Live Support, with Michele, who's really short. Now it's time to start Live Support.
The Live Support Podcast is brought to you by the Hot Breath Comedy Network.
Wow, give yourself a round of applause. Welcome to the award-winning Laugh Support Podcast. I'm your host, June Colson, here with Michele, with 1L, Trisha's sister, Rhonda Colson, Corey's friend. Don't call me Shelly, Michele Van Dusen. Look at me doing it! Right here.
So, you used to say my best friend. Did you say that this time? I heard Rhonda Corey's friend. But did you?
I said you're Rhonda Colson, Corey's friend. I think you're more her best friend now than me, Michele. And I didn't want to bring it up on the air, but that's fine. If we want to hash this out, let's talk about it.
I'm just saying. I think you might have found a new friend, and I think that's why you just dropped off saying my best friend.
No, I think that you just like pointing out when I make mistakes.
No,
so
I don't think
you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Just,
just because you were just spending a whole bunch of time with Rhonda and her little town over there, little island, that you were just like, so long, Michele. You don't have an island like Rhonda does. I think that's what was happening.
Well, but you did have an island. You grew up owning an island. Rhonda doesn't own Rhode Island. I don't know. Rhonda Corey. If anyone owns Rhode Island, it's Rhonda Colson Corey. Okay, look, I have to tell you about the text message I just got. Okay. Actually, I'm going to tell you the backstory. Okay. So 4th of July, we went to Jason's parents' house.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to tear these up. Hold on. I need scissors. We went to Jason's family's house, his mother and father's house for 4th of July.
Are you doing crafts right now?
I am making a craft. No, I could. I'm about to make sock puppets. Okay. So my mother-in-law says, "Hey, June, come in here. I have something for you to give to your sister." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I go to the bedroom with Nana Connie, and she has a bag, and it's a bag with a bunch of shirts in it. And she said, "I told Bobby Joe I was going to send some shirts her way." So she had some shirts somebody was giving away. She thought Bobby might like them for teaching, whatever. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, that's really sweet." And then she says, "Oh, and I was at a place where they were having a sale on big old socks. Big old socks. And I saw these big old socks and I got you some big old socks." She said, "Big old socks for your big old feet." And I go, "Thank you, Nana, I think for my big old feet." And she started giggling and she goes, "Well, because Nana Connie is like your height. She's a tiny, tiny, itty bitty lady. And I am just a monster every time all of Jason's family. All the women are like cute and petite and whatever. And then there's me and, 10 foot tall. Oh, well, and Jason's cousin Sherry, who is amazing. I love her so much. She actually went with me to the Huckabee show one time, and she's super tall. And me and her and Chrissy Condor took a picture together, and none of us had to bend over. We used to have to lean over for all the little ladies, but we were like Amazon Women Unite. But anyway, so that's how Nana gave me a gift. She said, "Let me look at." Okay, so that is some. Can you hold on?
That's big old socks. I can see those
big old socks. But look, okay, she got me 2 packs, so I took one out of the package. Look at this. Look at this sock. Look at this sock. Is it off screen? It's so big. I can't see what I'm doing here. This is a big old sock. She is correct. I do have big feet, but I don't know. So just a minute ago, when we were doing our podcast, I have do not disturb on my phone, but I saw my phone light up and I looked down and it says, hold on, I'm going to screenshot it because I don't want to show the rest of her text messages. Today, during our first podcast that we were recording with the amazing Peppy Garrett, if you haven't listened, folks, go back and listen. Saved to photos. I
Okay,
hope
what do
you
you got?
can read this. I hope you can read this, Michele.
Okay.
At 12:00 whatever today.
Did
Can
your
you
big socks fit? LOL.
say
Well, now, have you tried them on yet?
No, that's
Okay,
why
so here's a way to find out and figure out without putting them on your feet if they're going to fit. So
do
you
you
make
wrap
a
them
fist.
around your neck?
No, that's your jeans. That's your jeans. That's the zipper of the jeans. No, you take your fist and you put the sock from here and you wrap it around all the way. So hold it with your thumb, yep, and wrap it around. And
Can you see
yep,
it?
yep,
Like that?
yeah. So that is either going to fit or be slightly too big, just a hair, but
I
that'll be
think they're
fine.
gonna be too big. That
Yeah.
one is because I stretched it too much for comedic
Here,
purposes. But it's
we'll
okay. I have
widen
two
the.
packages. Okay, I'm trying it on. I'm trying on. Michele, he fit like a glove. They
Are
fit
you
like a
sure
glove.
it's not up too far off your heel there? It's not
Oh,
just a
no,
hair.
they're perfect. I think after I wash them, they're gonna fit perfectly. Look at that. I have purple and I have mint green and I have pink and I have white and I have gray and I have orange.
So out of that collection,
Yeah.
I think what Jason can wear the white ones.
Yes. Yeah. I don't share my socks with my people. Actually, they may fit Trey's. No, they won't fit my kids' feet. So anyway, I just thought that was too funny that I looked down and I got a message from my mother-in-law. Did the socks fit your big old feet? They sure did, Nana Connie. Thanks for the socks.
That's
How big are
fantastic.
your socks, Michele?
Well, I do have a pair of socks that, unused so far, brand new. But at the moment, I'm not wearing any socks.
You know what's funny? You could wear those socks because it says one size fits most.
Yeah, I'm.
Those would be you. Those would be like knee socks on you. That's what those would be.
Yeah, but because the way they're shaped, they'll actually come up my calf. So it'll be, it won't be shin guards. It'll be calf guards.
That's right. Sock it to me. But you know what? We use a lot of things unorthodoxly, if that's a word. Because what was your son using the other day as a hat?
The watermelon? No, what?
What? No. That was not the answer I thought I would get.
Okay.
What?
Well, he has worn the rind. I don't. Tell me.
He had a green screen, like a propeller
Oh.
on top of his head.
He
Michele
did.
sends me videos. You send videos of your boys all the time doing the most random things. But tell our listeners about the reaction when you told them that you wanted to cut your hair off and what did they want you to do with it?
It was basically just, if you're gonna do short hair with spikes, it needs to be hot pink or hot blue, I think, or neon blue or something like that. Neon pink or blue is what they said. Whereas Rhonda Corey just straight out said, no, you'll look like something else. So I'm just saying, yeah, my boys are very supportive.
Did you tell your boys what Rhonda said and did they agree or disagree?
They just, their eyes got big and they just kept their mouth shut because they're good boys.
They are good boys.
They
are,
know.
Michele, when you were showing the video, because Michele did kind of an ambush video. She like approaches her son. Was it Anthony? And she's got like, here's my cell phone. She's got the cell phone, right? And she's like, hey, Anthony, Anthony, tell mom what you think about me cutting my hair off. And, she's got the phone in their face and she's talking about like cutting it off and making it spiky. And that child was so disciplined. He just, any thought? He did something my boys never do. The child thought before he said something. I never do that. And tell me how much your kids love you and how gentle they are with you. Because that was so really, I mean, like on a serious tip, like really sweet. Like they really didn't want to say anything to hurt your feelings. And also you could see the look of like, is she messing with me or is she serious right now? Because that makes a difference on how you respond.
That does make a difference. I just have to say, the two that are here, okay, the two that I asked the question to, they do stop and think and consider, on the reality. Okay, is she being serious? And if she is, how can we actually make this situation better for her?
Right.
So that's why he's like, yeah, how about hot pink? Do neon pink if you're gonna do that. Like it was nice. And like I'm just gonna shift gears for just a second. I like the fact that that was my son's suggestion versus saying no, don't do it. It'll be
Yeah,
awful.
yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
he said, okay, if this is the direction you want to go, here's how
Go
you
all
make
the
it
way.
better. Yeah, this is how you're gonna make it better. I like doing that also if I'm helping someone with their comedy. I don't tell them to shift directions because if this is the
Right,
direction you want to go, well, then here's another tag to make that better, or have
right,
you explored this area of it to make it better? Because I think a lot of people don't do that when someone's like, "Hey, can you help me with this bit?" And people are like, "Oh no, you shouldn't do that at all. You should do this
right,
instead."
right, right.
Yeah, so it's that. So I was really pleased that my son was like, okay, if we're going here, let's go here. So,
Yes, yes. You
but
could
don't
hear a
worry.
little more cynicism in the kid that was off camera.
Yeah. Well, we've already reviewed the pros and the cons,
Yes,
the
yeah, yeah,
positives, the negatives, and he's
yeah.
all like, it's still a negative,
Yes, yeah.
basically.
He was very like he was very just sure of his opinion. So,
Mhm.
but they were both very sweet and kind
Yeah.
to you. I thought that was awesome. It was awesome. But you are go back to the beginning, Michele. Michele with one L, Rhonda Colson Corey's friend, Trisha's sister. Don't call me Shelly, my best friend, Michele. Are we back on track? Are
We're
we
back
okay?
on track.
Am I still invited to your birthday party? That's what all the little
No.
girls on the playground would say.
You know what?
You're off
Yes.
my birthday list because you're not my
Yes.
best
I
friend.
expect to see you on my birthday.
Yes.
So yeah. So be here.
Yeah.
Let's
When
do
is your
something
birthday,
good.
Michele?
September 30th.
Hmm. Is that
So
on your Facebook page?
I don't know. It might be. It
You used
it's
to
very
not have it on Facebook, so I couldn't cheat and look it up because I never know anybody's birthday.
this year it's a Saturday. Um
Ooh.
yeah.
So for
So
our listeners, Michele's birthday is coming up September 30th on a Saturday. So you are welcome to reach out to us on
yeah,
live support. Shoot me a message. I'll let you know how you can send her a birthday card.
that's right, with
Cool
some
socks.
cash. Put some cash in there, please.
Put some cash in.
Uh I need a car. I need a good
Yeah.
car. I
So
need
we're gonna recap really quick about so episode before last, I was at Rhonda's house looking like Rhonda in my Rhonda wig. We shared with you, Michele, that I don't think we had done the Bella show yet.
no.
No, we
I
hadn't done
no, you were about to meet the family. You had a lot of things that you were about to go do with
that. Gotcha.
Rhonda. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Okay, so I ended up being at Rhonda's house for 5 days. We did 3 shows in 5 days. So every other day that I was at her house, it was comedy. So I arrived one day, hung out, got acclimated. The next day, we went and had our hair done. We did the Funny Together show, which was fantastic. The day after that was a break. Then the next day was a show at Bella's, and that was going to be it. That was going to be all. And then as we shared on that episode, Rhonda got a phone call from someone looking for someone to do a birthday party for a 95-year-old woman. And Rhonda told her she would find someone. She hangs up the phone and says, "Let's do it. This could be crazy. This could be horrible or amazing." And so, yeah, we did it. We did it. We just,
okay,
that Rhonda
I
Corey, that
I want
Rhonda
to
Corey,
know,
it's hard to say no to comedy.
so was this, since it's summertime,
Yes.
was this birthday party like an outdoor event?
No.
Was it at the hospital? Like, where did you have this event? Was it at someone's home?
No, this was at a fancy restaurant, and
Ooh,
they had reserved like a ballroom type room. It was small, not like a huge ballroom, but and it had like their own bar in the back, and they had like $1 million birthday cake for the 95-year-old, and you know how people like say like know your audience or you figure out your audience.
mhm.
I can tell you that my audience is typically not middle and upper class people. Like that's
Yeah.
usually not the people who love me. They're confused by me. They feel sorry for me, especially
Oh,
I'm in this.
trouble.
Yeah. So sad. She was poor. And so we get there. Rhonda she had brought her sound system, but when we got there, they were like, hey, we've got a cordless mic, we've got sound here, whatever. And John went with us, Rhonda's husband, which was really cool. By the way, her family absolutely adores her, and it was really sweet to stay with them. And they were so accommodating and kind. And Alex is amazing and all of that. So they're great. And you're going to go spend some time with them.
Alex.
That. Yes. And so John packs all the sound system in, then we discover we don't need the sound system. They have a sound system. So he takes it back to the car, to which we then find out that the sound system doesn't really work. Like the mic just keeps cutting out and cutting out. So then John goes back to the car, gets the sound system, brings it back in. And so he ends up packing the sound system 3 times. Yeah. So, or actually 4 times.
Yeah.
And so she tries to find a good spot to set up. Very sweet family, beautiful family, and the 95-year-old she was so youthful. Like she was just so youthful. And they said she still cooks for the family and, all of that. She, the sister or the daughter was like, she's Polish. You can do Polish jokes if you want. Like, I am not doing that.
No.
No, but it was a Polish.
Those have been taboo for since 1968, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but she's like, we're not trying to be crazy politically correct. We're having fun here. We're having fun. And but not in a way that was hurtful. She was just saying, like, don't be worried about, whatever, it being a stuffy crowd. Of course, it's one of those where there were babies in the room. One child was just screaming during my set, right as I did my tasem joke about tasing children. So that was really good timing.
You're giving them suggestions. You're telling them how to parent at that point. Your baby's interrupting, so tase them.
Yes. Yeah.
Just FYI, because our lawyers want to make sure we say this, that the Left Support Podcast is in no way responsible if you do tase your children. We are not recommending it. It is not. We're not sponsoring it. We're not promoting it. But that's June's comedy. Okay. All right.
We really weren't even good mothers ourselves. So don't listen to anything we say about child rearing or whatever. But anyway, so I keep teasing Rhonda, telling her, I'm like, I'll do a hard 5 at the top and then you take over. And so anyway, beautiful venue. The lady Susie kept saying, oh, I can't wait for you to see the flowers. And this lady on the phone was just high energy, funny, happy. Like she was just one of those people where it was like, I can't wait to see this person in person. She sat at the head of the table. We finally got the sound system working. The grandson said some really sweet things about the grandmother. And then they turned it over to me. And sometimes when I'm in a crowd like that, I get this reaction. It really is like they're looking at a zoo creature or something. Like they've never seen a hillbilly before. And I kind of got that
or they're just going, she's really tall. Would she?
I don't know.
Here.
There was some polite smiles. There was a little bit of laughter, not a ton. I was not crushing it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you were you were actually setting the room up perfectly for Rhonda. I mean, that's what it sounds like because they weren't because I thought that it was a surprise to everyone that there was going to be comedy.
So Rhonda told Susie to make sure she told people comedians were coming.
Did she though?
There was a family member who was very animate of not wanting us to be there. And she let us know that. She not that family member, but Susie told us. She was like, oh, so-and-so doesn't want you there. And I'm like, that's always good too, Rhonda. Sure, let's go. But Susie wanted us there, and that's all that mattered because Susie was just excited. And so anyway, I mean, I closed with the McDonald's thing and they clapped and they laughed and they were polite or whatever.
Yay.
And then Rhonda came up and literally shredded the room for the first 10 minutes of her set. When she came up, she goes, so let me tell you how we got here. And she starts talking about Susie. And
Mhm.
she describes the whole phone call. She describes how when she called Susie back and told Susie, you know, well, my friend's here from Kentucky and she's a comedian and she said she'd do it too. And Susie was like, oh, ooh, Kentucky. Like it was exotic. And so Rhonda just shares that story. And you could tell like that Susie is a character in herself and that everybody in the family loves that woman and like gets the character that she is and how fun she is. And so they were having fun listening to Rhonda describe this scenario and phone call. They loved her. Like she just rocked it out, which I'm so glad because it was up to me. I ruined the birthday party. But Rhonda's like, no, you opened. It was, you know, whatever. But definitely not my best set I've ever done in my life. But for me, it's like it needs to be a good show. I always want to, you know, I want people to have a good time. This was an important birthday for this family and the children and the grandchildren and the great grandchildren were all there. And so I always wanted to be special for people, you know, you want to deliver. And so, you know, I did something, but Rhonda truly delivered in that situation.
Oh,
And
good.
really gave them an amazing memory. And I wish I could have done more to, you know, have done that. But bottom line was I got to have the experience of being at this party that,
You're in the room.
that I got to sit back and watch these family members love this woman, a truly tight knit, loving family who just wanted to honor their grandmother and mother and great grandmother and this 95-year-old woman, gorgeous, like so youthful.
So she didn't have pink hair?
She did not have pink hair, but there was a lady in the front with very, very pink hair and orthotic shoes on that kept my attention. You know how like you find like certain people in the room? That woman was very, and even if they were laughing, you would never see a picture of that because have you found like in the comedy pictures, we've talked about this, that if somebody takes a picture, you could be crushing it. But the one picture they take that has the audience's face, nobody is smiling. Everyone looks miserable. But in my case, they probably were. So in this particular one. But no, I like, you know, I think every time you go out, every time you put yourself out there, you learn something, right? And for me, I've always felt like, you know, that particular type of crowd, it takes a long time for me to win them over. Like in just a few minutes, it's difficult for me to do because I come from such a different background and, you know, whatever. Now, the night before that, we did this restaurant dining thing that was really fun. I had a great time there.
Is this where you met the Sopranos?
This is where I met the guy that was on the Sopranos, Frank Santarelli.
Santarelli.
There was Frank. There was Joe.
The guys.
Like Rock and Joe. I wish I had the paper in front of me of everybody. But Rhonda's friends were fantastic. They were really fun. It was one of those rooms that was set up weird. Like it was just long length. The people in the back didn't even know comedy was going on till like, you know, halfway through the second person or maybe when I got up there and they were like, who's this random character? Right?
What's the ruckus in the back? What's happening back there?
Yeah. It was very interesting. But yeah, Frank Santarelli, he was Georgie on The Sopranos, like the TV series. I don't watch violent stuff, so that was lost on me. But also
you watch football, you watch violent stuff. Okay.
No, yeah, that's true. Sporting violence I watch. But yeah, violent movies or scary movies I don't watch. But and he's also in Ray Romano has a new movie out somewhere in Queens, I think is the name of the movie. And he's in like a scene on there. He was really funny. Just a great group of people to work with. But like over the weekend, it was like church show, a comedy and dinner show, and then a birthday party. And, you know, and you learn stuff. You learn stuff every time you're in these situations, right? And so I learned something in each setting that I was at. The birthday party thing was like, you know, trying to figure out who's my crowd, who are my people. And I definitely am getting a stronger sense of who gets me and gets my comedy and who enjoys me the most, right? I want to be good for for everybody, but not everybody gets us. And even one of the performers over the weekend that I met was talking about doing a show, I think in Atlanta, and he was saying they couldn't get past his like Boston accent, like some of the people after the show were like, yeah, you're really funny, but like the way you talk, we just, where he was at, it just didn't resonate. And so, yeah, it worked for me 2 nights and didn't work for me one. And
so we're now, because you say that you're wanting to see who gets you in that process of figuring out who's getting you and who's not getting you. Are you able to pivot your jokes, to get the rest of the crowd with you? Does that make
I
sense?
try, you know what I mean? I try sometimes. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't, it just doesn't go. I was definitely in my head kind of calculating, okay, don't do that joke because they're not going to get that. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to be for this room. And I'm not, like I said, you don't blame the audience at all. But also I know that like some crowds definitely, I know like I'm in my space. When we did the popcorn show together, that was my crowd. That was Indiana. That was right outside of the Brickyard in Indianapolis 500, and these were people who grew up in a similar culture that I did. So they got me a little bit more than, let's say, a different audience. But I learned that I learned like watching Rhonda, and what hit so hard at the beginning was that presence in that room of telling the personal story about the woman who booked and connecting right away with the people who were there. It was brilliant. I learned that, she could have easily just said no to that, like whatever. But by saying yes, she had a really great experience. And so did the people at that party. Like she, and Susie was so kind, and she called Rhonda, had her on speakerphone. She called later and she's like, you girls made the party. You girls made it such a special thing. And like, she was just raving about what a difference it made having that extra element at this birthday party, and how it basically created a forever memory for them, that it was just something different and unique. And these comedians showed up and could have easily said no. It was a very last minute thing, but Rhonda said yes. And I'm more in the over analyzing everything, that I say no to a lot of stuff that, who knows, maybe I would have actually enjoyed it if I just went, this could be crazy or this could be great. Let's see what happens. So, but Susie is a master at creating flower arrangements, because she was telling Rhonda, wait till you see the flowers. Well, I was thinking when we walked up, this restaurant was gorgeous and there were all these flowers outside. I was thinking that's what she was talking about. But we got in there and she had made these beautiful flower arrangements, fresh flowers on all the tables. When we left, Susie gave her a beautiful arrangement to take home that was full on the colors and the type of flowers that Rhonda absolutely loves, as if the woman had made it just for her. Like it was just that little touch of God that went, here's this beautiful arrangement. One of the brothers was giving me little baskets full of chocolate. They were sending chocolates home with us. Like they were just such a kind family. And then me and John and Rhonda went to dinner together, and that's kind of how we rounded out. The next day, my hubby came and got me, and we took off, and we went to
Boston.
We went to Newport, Rhode Island, which was gorgeous, and we stayed a night there. Then we went to Boston for 3 nights, and then we stayed in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, I think, and we went to Maine one day, and all of that. So I'm going to give my travel itinerary to you, let you know where we went and what we saw, because now that I'm home, Michele, you and your dude are about to hit the road. So tell us what's going on.
Yes.
Where are you going? How long are you going to be gone? How am I going to survive without you? And go.
Okay, so we leave in just a couple of days, and we are headed to Rhode Island because I'm going to be participating in the Clean Comedy Challenge out there in Rhode Island, and I don't enjoy flying, so I drive to places. And my original thing that I was planning. I was gonna, drive a day and then find a comedy, do some comedy and then drive another day, to get gas money and things like that on the way. Because from Oklahoma to Rhode Island, it's approximately 26 hours ish. Actually, it'll be more because you got to stop and get gas, things like that. So I thought I would break it up between like 3 and 4 days and just pick up a couple of things along the way, get gas money and whatever.
Mhm.
But and then I was gonna, but it just wasn't sitting right with me, and I was trying to find a schedule. I was trying to, uh, book some stuff, and it just wasn't. It just kept falling through, falling through. I'm like, ah, this is so frustrating. Come to find out, this past week, my husband said, "Hey, I'm going with." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So that made more sense as to why that kind of trailed off. But still, I'm like, well, then he would just do my sound, so that's a good thing. He's going. Why can't I find any gigs along the way? And then I got the best phone call last night. So I was at a comedy club here in town, and I was
Mhm.
on, doing open mic, just kind of getting ready for this
Yeah, yeah.
adventure. And I got a phone call, couldn't take it, so I had to wait till later. But there was a message. Guess who is going with us on our trip?
So now someone else is riding in the car with you?
Yes, yes,
Who's going with
because
you?
this person who is so precious to me, and she's bringing her daughter with, super, super precious to me because she has family in Rhode Island. And so while we're doing what we're going to be doing, um, my daughter-in-law and her baby, my grandbaby, get to spend time with her family.
Which is
So
which was what was in your heart in the first place, is that you were really hoping that she would be able to be a part of the trip and see her family and all that. Like you
yes,
mentioned that before of how she had family there.
yeah. And so we're doing it.
Michelle.
We're doing
Aw.
it. So so I get to so I was telling Ross last night, I'm like, oh, do you realize we're taking our grandbaby on her first road trip?
That's
So like,
right.
woo. Anyway, so we're excited about that. So we have to make some more, some different adjustments.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, got to make sure we
You
have a
can't
good
bring
car
all
seat.
the snacks now, Michelle. There's
Yeah,
not room for all of them.
I
And
know.
okay, so
So
go back and listen to our podcast about pack rats and packing appropriately for the road trip. And I'll tell you what helped me a lot was being able to wash my clothes at Rhonda's house.
oh, I believe it.
Because all the
There's
way
the
around, I was gone like 14
Democrat.
days. Look at that. Look at the pack rats. That's so Michelle is showing us the mug that Earl Music did the artwork for, and it's a picture of her with a suitcase packing rats
Mhm.
into her
Yep.
suitcase. It's a pack rat suitcase. But yeah, so oh wow. So yeah, that was a big help for me because I was able to pack a little less
Hmm.
and wash the clothes. And I ended up using, like Jason and I were talking about, I literally I wore everything that I packed. There was nothing that was in my suitcase that I hadn't at least worn once. So for
Yeah.
once in my life, I planned it out appropriately. Okay, so you guys are leaving. You're planning on this journey for like 2 weeks
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
it's going to take you probably several days to get to your location. Have you already mapped out like the places, the towns you're stopping in, where you're staying and all of that, or what's going on there? You have a
Um,
baby with you, so you can't just full on wing it now.
anyway, so we were, my husband is in charge of the itinerary.
Yes.
He knows I have to be, in Rhode Island at this location for a certain, so many days. And getting there and getting back, we were looking at, doing like the north side of America and then
Right.
coming back the south way. So I do believe we'll end up going through like Virginia, North Carolina, kind of a thing, to hit a couple of states we've never been in before.
Oh, nice.
Um, but we're definitely going to break it up 3 days there, 3 days back. So it's easier on our grandbaby and our
Yeah.
mom, and so that we have you know a, a, a good sleep in that sense, for hopefully. And of course, I just recently got a travel pack, the travel pack for babies, because I wanted to have one at
Oh,
our house.
like the pack and play, like the little
Yeah,
pop up for it to sleep
yeah,
in. Yeah.
yeah. So I just got one like last weekend, not knowing that we were going to be taking her with, but I just got one
Yeah.
last weekend because when they come visit, because she's starting to move now, and
Yeah.
she's trying to do that. She's doing the whole rocking on the hands and knees, trying to crawl and all that. I wanted her to have a safe space at our
Mhm.
house. So I'm like, oh, look at this timing. It's perfect. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So are
Anyway,
you
so I
gonna
think,
try and get like, are you gonna try and get to Rhode Island early enough to have like a day or two that you can settle in and rest and get your head straight before the competition? Or how are you going into that?
oh yeah, just one day early for that, or the evening before. I'm not quite sure. I think it's a day before. Um, so yeah, I typically if my husband is driving, well, actually, even if I'm driving, I run over my sets,
Yeah,
and I've got 20 some hours to just run it over. And the challenge with the challenge is you have 3 minutes, then you have a
right,
different 3 minutes, then you have a different 2 minutes, then you have a different 4 or 5. It just depends on,
right.
so it's the is this actually 3 minutes? What do I have to cut? What do I need to add? Does this make sense? This order? Does this section make sense? So you got it. It's a
Right.
lot of it's like a puzzle. And
Yeah.
then, like you just said, you're trying to figure out who your audience is. It's the same thing. Like, okay, so we're going to be on this portion of the country.
Yeah.
Do my jokes translate well on this side of the
Yeah,
country?
I think with the comedy challenge though, that doesn't matter because it's all the other comedians and all of them are from all over the country. So it's not a very specific like everyone's from this town, this culture, this whatever. And your judges are the same way. They're across the board from all over the country. So I think for that, I wouldn't worry about that at all.
Well, I'm not worried about it, but it's that I want to make sure that I have that in my head, because if what I am, presenting, if it doesn't translate well, what can I quickly pivot to?
Yeah.
What can I pull next? Because I don't want to be there on stage going, "Oh, I have no idea what to grab next." I want to
Yeah.
make sure that I
Yeah.
at least have that in my head. And the thing is when I travel, that's the most times, I get very, very creative as I'm driving, because I'm seeing signs,
Yeah.
I'm seeing people,
Yeah.
and so it's always this constant flow, and then I'm like, "Ah, no, focus on what I'm supposed to be doing," but I can't, because now I'm like, "Oh, that billboard was hilarious." Like, I have this whole bit about, emergency ER times, the ER, you gotta
Right,
wait
right.
15 minutes. Well, I would never have had that except because I was driving, and these billboards,
Yeah.
15-minute waiting time. I'm like, "Who are you supposed to call? Can I call ahead? I see it's 15 minutes. I need to make a reservation. I need 3 pints of blood." Like,
Right, right, right. Yeah.
but that wasn't anywhere where I was gonna go with my set that night, but because I'm seeing these billboards everywhere, so it's constantly changing, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's very frustrating, and sometimes it's my greatest asset.
Yeah.
So,
For me in the competition, it was just in my brain, I had to have a beginning, middle, and end. That was it.
mhm,
Like, I have to know where I'm starting, know what I'm hitting in the middle and ending because it's only 3 minutes. Like
yeah,
and for me, I've always struggled with I don't know why it's a hang up for me. The first joke, it's the first thing that you say when you come out. And sometimes God just tees something up, a little softball toss where he makes it easy, where the person before you has said or done something and you can like bounce right in
mhm,
and do it. But like I don't have a ton of opening jokes. I don't have a ton of like different opening jokes. Well, then in that competition, you've got to have an opening joke 4 times. And
mhm,
I usually, at the time I only had two. And so I was like, oh gosh, what do you do? But that was me in the competition, was thinking beginning, middle, and end. I want them to feel like we started somewhere, we got somewhere, and we finished, right? Like
yeah,
that was the thing for me. I'm not somebody who's really great on the fly as far as like just going, oh well, I'll just switch it up. Like I need to be better at that. And I want to do like an improv class. I'd like to do that and maybe learn, a little bit better. But that's something that's your skill set of, you connect very quickly to people in the room. Your stage presence is super warm, and you are able to just shift gears really quick, which is not, I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it's not something that everybody has. And it takes a long time to learn it if you don't have it. Like I'm still
Mm.
trying to learn it. I think, and you're such a positive person too, that all the way around, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a great competition.
It's
For
gonna be fun, and I'm looking forward to hearing, some of those seasoned comics, with their, workshop times. Like
yes.
that like that's originally why I started going to the Clean Comedy Challenge. It
Mhm.
wasn't because, "Ooh, I wanna be in a contest," because that's not my strong like, I don't wanna do that. Because I do shift so quickly, and typically contests are a showcase. But I'm like, yeah, I've got stuff I can show, but oh, look at this, like I'm in the room. And but I like going and listening to the workshops. I like
Mhm.
hearing from people that have been on the road, that have been in comedy for years, and their highs, their lows, and that's kind of why we do this podcast. It's the same type of a thing.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
getting, who was there when you first start, like it's all that kind of stuff. So um this is the first year, I'll be honest, this is the first year going into this contest that I thought, my goal this year is to at least to be a finalist. Like,
Yeah.
before then, it was never really on my radar.
Yeah.
It was other things,
Yeah.
so I'm excited about this year.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, like an hour ago, I just started thinking about of the comedians that I know that will be there. I'm like, "Oh," and then I started comparing my
Uh,
material with theirs, and I'm like, "Ooh, stop it, stop it, stop it." But
yeah.
because if I get in my head there, then my goal of at least be a finalist won't happen, because 'cause I'll be spending my time trying to be better than them, and that's not it
Yes.
at all. We each have our own unique, um, outlook on things. We have our own
Mhm.
unique way that we present comedy, even though that there's certain rules, and stuff, but they're all
Right.
flexible. Um, so that's the thing, is sticking with my strong points and, staying basically out of my head in that
Right.
sense. Um, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm taking a trip with my grandbabies, so
Yes.
woohoo.
And you're already a winner. So I saw they announced that you already won something. So what did you win from the Clean Comedy Challenge already?
Oh, I have the Spirit of Comedy Award, from, Leah. Here, I'm gonna mess up her last name, and I'm gonna feel so bad that I've messed up Leah's last name. It starts with a C.
Well,
Um,
I didn't get to meet Leah, but I had heard a few people talk about her, and she was did the Clean Comedy Challenge, and as somebody, was it cancer? She had a battle
yeah,
with
she
cancer.
had yeah, she had brain cancer, like just a massive it just kept growing. And she's Asian, and or she was Asian, and she loved Disney, and being a Disney princess. So she had on the back of her neck, in the Disney script, a tattoo that said "Made in China."
Oh,
And
funny.
it was the most endearing and hilarious thing
Yes,
at the
yeah,
same time. And Leah was really smart and really funny, and just it's one of those devastating
yeah.
losses, I think, that the world has had, because she's not here anymore. It's one of those things, like, she had so much to give. And so I met Leah in the Chicago, I think it's 2019, 2018, the comedy challenge then. And so we stayed in touch, a little bit, after and stuff, but then, she got progressively worse, and so, it wasn't very long. But her family and her friends, and you can go online still on YouTube, and you can look up her comedy. I'll have it in the show notes,
Yeah, yeah, put it in the show notes.
because I
But
cannot pronounce her last name. It's CIA something. Um,
so the Clean Comedy Challenge, Leslie does some stuff sometimes that honors
yeah,
excuse me, previous people who had been in the
contestants,
Clean
yeah.
Comedy Challenge and have passed and those kind of things. So in honor of Leah, there was a photo package. Is that correct? Like a
Oh, yeah,
professional
yeah.
photographer
So
package?
Yeah, so it's the Spirit of Comedy Award, and then the package that I won with that is the photography package. So all of my sets will be videographed. So that's wonderful because I don't have to pay to have that happen because that's
Yeah.
part of one of the things that you can do. That would be an add-on. You can get your stuff recorded for yourself,
Yeah.
so which is wonderful, and I'm really excited. I'm like, oh, so now I'm glad you reminded me of that because now I have to actually make sure I pack clothing that I feel okay with being recorded
Oh
because
yeah.
if it comes out well, if my sets turn out well, then I could use those the videos. So
Yeah, no, that's a big deal. And it's a cool, I went with Rhonda over by the comedy club where it's at. A neat venue,
is it okay?
cool stage, cool little stage, very intimate. So, and then a nice kind of platform sitting area to the left, to the right of the stage from where you're facing. That I would guess that the judges will probably be sitting over there, but it's a neat vibe. If had I not been there doing the show and those kind of things, we would have scheduled our vacation where I could have at least caught at least one night of the Clean
Mm,
Comedy Challenge just to see all my friends. Because we have a lot of people that
yeah.
we're friends with. Some people have been on our podcast that are competing in the challenge. And I think it's cool. I think it's cool that you already are a winner with the Spirit of Comedy Award because you're a great example of the spirit of comedy and being supportive of people and there for people. And so Laugh Support, super excited that you're
Yeah.
going to the competition and that on top of it, it's just wrapped in a beautiful little baby Mia bow. And it's going to be a road trip to remember. It's going to be a long road trip. Girl, you got to fly. No, I'll tell you, that is some of the prettiest part of the country I've ever seen in my life. Jason and I really love driving through Rhode Island and Massachusetts and all of the places that
Mhm.
we were in. It's beautiful. So you guys are going to have
Yeah.
an awesome trip.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, and I'm looking forward to it for sure because I know that my husband has mentioned a couple times that we're definitely going to go through Hershey's, Pennsylvania. I'm like, all right, because I do know that when you drive through there, it smells like chocolate.
Yes.
So I'm like, yes,
Okay.
please.
Our friend John, he lives somewhere near Hershey, I think.
John and also L. Smith and
Yeah.
Gordon. They all live in that Pennsylvania, section that will whether we take the high area or the low, and I say high or low, it just depends on the roads,
Yes.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
where we're detouring. And of course, I'm into I think we're gonna stop at all the crazy little roadside things like,
Oh yeah.
the big rocking chair or
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
when we went through Kansas, it was the big ball of twine,
Yes,
or
we
the
passed some stuff on our trip, and I told Jason, I was like, "You are lucky you're married to me and not Michelle Van Dusen, because you would right now be going to that gerbil sanctuary to see those
that's
little
right.
gerbils. That's
That's
where you would be
right.
right now." But we go. He's not pulling
You're
off the
welcome,
road.
Jay.
We know where we're headed, and that's where we hit. But I did talk him into letting me go take a picture with a big wooden um, shrimp and put my face in the claw of the shrimp. He did take that picture. He
And
hated
yeah,
every moment of it, but
okay, now that is one thing that is definitely on my list, not the shrimp thing, but, one of those lighthouses. So,
yes, we
I
saw a few lighthouses and we
yeah.
ate a lot of lobster rolls. Lobster rolls are very, very, very popular in that area. So yeah, we had
Yeah,
good food.
that's the only downfall of us heading anywhere near a coast, because that's most of the food is seafood.
Mhm, mhm.
Neither of us do seafood,
Italian, a lot of Italian food around there. A great
and
Italian
that's
restaurant in
why we
Rhonda's town too.
that's
She's
why
so
we
excited.
couldn't go.
Yes, she's so excited about you being there so she can eat Italian food and all of that fun stuff and introduce you to the cuisine around their area. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
yeah, I was
like, my uncles and all that when we had our Christmas parties and stuff at the house, because I come from an Italian family, and guarantee you every single time there was calamari, like, there was a lot of
yeah,
seafood
yeah,
there amongst the pasta
yeah.
and, the things I would eat. So
Oh my gosh, now you're making me hungry. So I guess we're gonna have to wrap this up so I can go eat something not pasta. Boo, boo.
eat some eat a salad.
I'm giving up on this diet soon. But hey, listen, folks, All right. We're going to keep you updated on Michelle's journey, her travel, and there will definitely be updates after the Clean Comedy Challenge. But in the in-between, listen, if you are listening to us, you can watch us on the Laugh Support podcast. You can see the amazing socks that I had on our YouTube channel. So Laugh Support on YouTube. And if you are watching us and you want to take us on the road with you, you can listen to us on all major podcast platforms. And also just go to the Laugh Support and like and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Please do that. So we know you're out there. We know that we're not just talking to each other. Not that we wouldn't. We'd still do this. We don't.
Hey, we just picked up some new listeners in Mississippi. So
Nice.
There's that. Yeah. So
Well,
shout out to
Mississippi.
Mississippi. So
Okay.
yeah,
Oh.
that's not on our road trip this time, but when I head towards Florida, that'll be on my road trip, heading through Mississippi. Because I think I'm going to Florida in August. Ooh, hottest time to go.
And Texas in January or February or something.
Yep.
Girl, we have so many road trips coming up. All right, y'all. Well, that's going to be it for this episode of the Laugh Support podcast. As I always say, Jesus and Junebug loves you. And Michele, go ahead and close with your mama joke.
Okay, so since it's summertime, what is a frog's favorite treat in summer?
Frogs. I don't know. What is it?
Hopsicles. All right, with that, I'll say thanks for listening. Tune in next time. See ya.